Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Always. Dima, you can play some introduction for
opening.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very welcome everybody, and it's a big pleasure to have such a big and good artist from Ukraine directly, and it's really, really good, and it's a big honor to have you here in Stockholm, and hope to see you more. The topic of this discussion is the artist's role and personal experience of the war. And I just want to present the artist and the panelist here, and then we can go a little bit deeper for the presentation. Alyona from the Alyona, the one and only, and from the band Kazka, the greatest band Kazka, Dimitri, Nikita, and Oleksandra. It was announced that Gordy should be here, but unfortunately he has a sound check and is not with us in this discussion, but he have been here yesterday for another discussion that we had. Just telling you about why he's not here, because he was announced in the website. Talking about the artist and experience of the war, I can tell you that I'm by myself. I'm an immigrant. I came to Sweden 1986, and it was during the war, Iran and Iraq. I'm originally Iranian. I fled two things at the same time, a dictatorship and a war. And I was a theater director, and I was working on the city theater, and suddenly the government wanted me to do something else, something that was not in my taste or the way that I wanted to express myself. Then I just saw, okay, I have two choices. Either you stay and obey and you become like a Mephisto, or you have to choose your way. And for me it was very difficult to do this choice. At the same time, it was not that difficult. If you just rely to your heart and say, okay, what should I do? Should I do and thinking the normal life, earning money, going to do something, or should I just do the art that I love? Then I choose to leave the country. Then I come to Sweden. That is my own experience. It was the early years of my life. Then, of course, when you are in another country, it has its own challenge. That is also we are going to talk. But when you go to difficult days and the difficult choices, you make a choice and then you have to live with your choice, in good or bad, and it has a lot of challenge. And yes, I mentioned the Mephisto because there is, many of you know, and there is actually displays playing in the Royal Theatre of Stockholm, Mephisto. That is, he's an artist during the Hitler, during the World War II or a little bit before. And he's a very known and everybody loves him. And suddenly he gets this to choose to be with the Hitler, to make a career, or leave or just be with the other side. Unfortunately, he's going to play the Mephisto of Dante's. That's why we call him Mephisto. And he chose to be with the other side, with the Nazis. And the whole play is about the artist's choice, what you choose in your life. and all the consequences that we always have about this. And I can tell you about another thing about the war. During the World War II, it was a very famous Hollywood actor. Philip Hormer, he played 48 films. He's not known because he died. He chose exactly like many of Ukrainian artists who just went to the war. He chose to defend, and the US was not in the war in that time. He became a pilot, he and his brother Ralph. They went to Canada, the Canadian Air Force, and he died. But he did a choice. Yeah. Another very famous artist that he was a director and musician by name Victor Jara in Chile. He chose to be with the people side. And why culture is so important? Because all the dictators, they know the culture can destroy them. And they don't kill the artist first. They want to kill the art. It's why in that time they just cut his hand because he was a really good guitarist. And then killed him. They wanted to send a message, we are going to kill your art first. It's why your mission is so important, and all artists' mission is very important. But if I just look back for the Ukrainian musician, they have very long history. We all know about the persecution of the Kobzars. And during that, when Stalin had the power, you know, they were the bandura players, bandurists, and they were like the troubadours. They just told the Ukrainian history, nothing else. They didn't talk about the politics. They talked about love, Ukrainian language, and the Ukrainian history. And the worst thing, I personally, it's my word, it's nothing, I call it the biggest artist genocide in the world. Because Stalin invited them to a conference, and all of them come to the conference. The Kobzars, they usually were blind, and they had to go 3 years of education to be accepted as a troubadour. He invited them to a conference and brutally killed all of them. You understand how important is the artist and the storytelling of the artist and the art. This was just a very short presentation of this, and just beginning for our discussion. And I want just to say that Ukrainian music, if I really want to compare with the Russian music, sorry, I have to compare it, but Ukrainian music is so big and so known in the world. We were talking about the Shedrik yesterday. In this 1 year or 2 years, just people just get to understand, oh, Shedrik, it's an Ukrainian song. Nobody knows that Avanagila, it has the old origin from Ukraine, from the Hasids.
I don't know this.
Yeah. They played it in their what you call small. The Hasids, they had this way of singing, but it was very slow. It's not that tempo that the Hasids wanted. Mm-hmm. But the origin is from the Hasids, from the Ukraine. According to my research, it's and this is, and look at the pop music. Look at the Eurovision. How many times we have had? You are going to win over Sweden 3 times, and maybe this time in Sweden the one Ukrainian wins because her song. It means that this kind of music is very important, and you guys make a great job through the music. And I want to just begin with you, Alyona. You break through with your single, or it was an album, 2019, isn't it? And then you just did an EP the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are considered as a new star rap of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And the New York Times, where is the more? And New York Times linked you, they said you are like Azalea Band, the greatest American rapper from Harlem. And yeah, again, the New York Times said that Alyona is one of the 15 top rapper of Europe. I have a question. In 2014, you decide to switch to Ukrainian.
Language, yes.
Yeah, language. We all know why. We don't want to talk about this because it's very obvious. It was when the Russian just occupied Crimea. And I know it was a very difficult decision for an artist, because always for some artists it's very difficult, for the stand-up comedian, for the rappers, just switch the language. It's something not overnight. Can you just tell us about the challenge and the difficulties? We know why, you can just tell again why, and the difficulties, challenge.
First of all, my own language was Ukrainian. From that place where I was born to the place where I was in 2014. And I believe in God's plan, you know. So I started to work with children, and all my teacher process was in Ukrainian. So my vocabulary in Ukrainian started to grow up. And when 2014 happens, I found a new community of Ukrainian rappers. So before I was a little bit famous in Russian social network, VK, ВКонтакте. And there was some Russian community of rappers, so I write like for them to be popular with that people. But then after 2014 we blocked this social network, and I found Ukrainian, and I started to write in Ukrainian language because my vocabulary grew up, and from that moment I stopped to write in Russian.
And how difficult, when you made it, because sometimes you say, okay, I have some audience there, maybe I have some economic, and I'm going to lose that, I'm going to have this audience. How difficult it was? Or
it's like beginning from the zero point, because yeah, I lost all, but I can look not in that moment but in future, and I understand that I found new community, and this community gave me more than that community in some far country, just only in internet. We didn't see each other during 5-7 years. So for me it wasn't difficult, but I know people for whom it's really difficult because they was live whole life in Russian culture. So yeah, and I understand that people, and if I somewhere see pushing, I think it's not good. Yeah, so for me it was not bad, because my community, my childhood was in Ukrainian language. In school I learned Ukrainian language, and we even didn't learn Russian, only 2 years. So my Russian language is television, literature, cartoons, films.
You mentioned cartoons, because when I followed you, and you just change not even the language, you change even the lyrics and the way of telling. You had some a little bit funny things in your hip hop, and then you come to the more, of course, to the war and all things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the situation. That it is also a totally change over to another kind of.
I think now is super period to everybody to find new pages of story, because of history. Because I learned it at school, but only couple of information, and for me it was don't mind. It's history. I love to learn literature. It was my best side of education. But now, when we start to learn it, now we understand. My generation understand. Even if you talk about cartoon, so they take it, changed, and show us our product, but change it from Russian government. And I saw it, and I thought that it's not mine, it's there, but it's mine at all. So yeah, now it's super cool period, but it's sad that this is hard way of war.
Yeah, that's great. I have another question, but this is to all of you, because during the wartime, you are not even an artist. You have to preserve a culture. And it has its own challenge, preserving because during the war everything happen, and if you don't preserve your culture, it can just disappear. I saw in the TV when the people just gathering the sandbags around the very precious statues. That is really, for me, oh my God, look, people just thinking about. But as an artist, you have a bigger mission. You can all answer to this, but it's also, I want us to know what is the challenge and what is the demands for an artist.
For me, I think it was the hardest one when the war started. I went to US, and the hardest challenge for me was to talk about war and to talk with politics, to talk to tell people on the TV with me, to tell with these shorts sentences and tell messages to people what they can do, what they can donate, and talk to their government and all of this stuff. And it was hard for me because I never was in such a big SME community, and to talk in English and in the live television, and I only can talk about music and they're pushing me in this I don't know how to tell, government stuff, and I was like, hi, my name is Sasha, I'm from Ukraine, and I'm musicians, but I need to introduce my country, and I'm here, and I want to tell you about, we have big problems, we have these Russians, and we need our help, we need your help. So we're asking for support from US, and we're telling really it was hundreds of interviews, and it was very hard for me because I don't like to talk the stuff like this, but I was it was very hard for me. I don't know what about boys, because they were staying in Ukraine, and Dima he can say in Ukrainian, and we can translate if he wants. We have a translator. Cool.
Супер, дуже дякую.
Треба питання повторити.
Так, можна, будь ласка, ще раз коротеньке питання. Я так базово зрозумів,
Питали про те, що який був найважчий
Прикольно.
челендж на початку, тобто як підтримувати культуру там і взагалі челендж на початку
Для
війни.
тебе як для артиста.
Я найперше, що хочеться сказати, що підтримувати саме такі речі, як культура, музика спочатку. Ну, тобто, спочатку, коли в Києві велися бої, і я жив на оболоні, і через кілька днів згоріла квартира, яку я орендував, то там було питання просто вижити. Так. І коли я приїхав додому, вже до себе в Карпати, я зрозумів, що всі ці інструменти, які я привіз з собою, я мав велику кількість інструментів, їх потрібно не просто зберігати, як в консерві, а про них розказувати, їх використовувати, що я і робив до цього. Перепрошую, так, я завівся вже.
Yeah, so, can you hear me, by the way? Yes, so what he was saying is that it is important to support the culture, and in the beginning of the war he had problems because he was living at Alyona in Kiev, and his flat was burned, and the main question during that period was how to survive. But then after, at some point he left and went to the Carpathian region, and he took all his instruments with him, and then the question was that they should not just lie there, but one should speak to others and explain what these are.
І спочатку я розглядав саме продовження заняття музикою, не було близько 3 місяців, взагалі не було не те, що бажання, навіть сил займатися музикою. Ми з друзями створили волонтерський центр, де допомагали переселенцям і всім військовим.
Yeah, so in the beginning, for approximately 3 months, he could not do any music. Instead he wanted to volunteer.
Але згодом я зрозумів, що все, що зараз ми знаємо про Україну, про нашу культуру, про нашу музику, літературу і все, що стосується України, українськості загалом, це все до нас дійшло завдяки людям, які завжди здебільшого зберігали цю Україну всупереч, часто всупереч деяким державам, всупереч навіть ціною свого життя.
Yeah, then he understood that actually everything that we know about Ukraine actually was due to these artists and people who sort of fought, even resisted the influence from other countries.
І тому і зараз я відчуваю, що цей тягар, навіть не тягар, а ця мета лежить на нашому поколінні, на старшому, молодшому, на всіх, хто зараз є носіями цієї культури в Україні чи за кордоном. Ми якраз маємо створити те, чим будуть користуватися наступні покоління. Те мистецтво, ту культуру, музику, книги, фільми і так далі.
Yeah, so nowadays the goal is basically, the task is lying on our generation. We have to preserve the culture for the next generation.
Ти закінчив?
Дякую.
I want to tell that after my returning from US, we started to give a concerts, and it was like hundreds, and we have a like more like it was not for money, it was for money for it was for our defenders, it was for our children, and it was more charity, and it was very hard to tell people who was abroad and want to go home, to tell that you can't do this, and it was very hard to see their faces that people just lost their homes. It was hard to explain them that it's dangerous in their hometowns, and yes, I think it was the biggest like challenge to give a concert to people who lost their homes, and to people who missing their homes, and yes, and I think when the war started, our concerts changed, because also we wanted to not only singing, we wanted to explain people who are abroad to like caring and love their culture, like to love their traditions and to learning Ukrainian songs, traditional Ukrainian.
Preserving.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's also very hard to telling people to guys, our culture is in danger, and the hometown, Nikita's hometown, Kherson, the museums there is destroyed, and a lot of libraries also destroyed with Ukrainian books. So we're telling another concert. We're telling people to keep and carry our culture. Yes, it's very important also.
We just jumped to a second question before I just introduce properly Kazka. It's a really great. You who are from Ukraine, you know them very well. And when I just listen to them, that's the fascination to the folk, electro and folk music and the ethnical music and the pop music. It's the really a great mixture. And Dima, who you play this special flute.
Yeah, it's named Sopilka.
Spilka. And yeah, Spilka.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
We call it Svartflöjt.
Yeah.
And you are, Nikita, you are the multi-instrumentalist and even behind all the sounds and sound engineering.
Yes.
You are the front vocalist, Oleksandra. And I can tell you that you who don't know Kazka, they are one of the few or first Ukrainian band who have about 500,000 viewers on YouTube. Their clip by name Cry, is it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, billion.
Half milliard, I said, billion. About 480,000.
I don't know where we
480 million.
we stopped counting.
Yeah, and it's there when you talk about preserving the culture, and when you just take the folk music, it's also preserving the old traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I have a question. Maybe it's a tricky, but we have had with about 4 months ago during the October month we were in the Vomex, and from Ukraine we met Alyona from the music export, Ukraine music export. And we have been in another discussion about how to deal with the Russian musician. And I am a very hardliner. I said, no, right now, any money, any gig that you give to the Russian musician, even if they are the world's best, it becomes a tax, goes back to Russia, becomes a missile, comes to Ukraine.
Yeah.
I have the same from it's actually, we are running a management. And we have always, even before this, when somebody asks me, or I want to come and play, we make a little bit research. Okay, even if you want to pay me, who are you? What comes this money from? And I know it's very difficult. I know the Russian market, they want to win even now, even Ukraine, because this market for them abroad is totally dead.
Yeah.
If they don't play in North Korea, Iran, and China.
Yeah.
There is no other market for them, but they want to win even this market. And how you make your position, I know it's very difficult, but for the promoters that you know, if I play maybe some percentage goes to tax. I don't mean that guy maybe is 150% against Putin, but you understand the difficulties. I want to just have this question about the relation between the artist and the promoters.
Кто?
Алёнчик,
Я? Давай.
я дополню.
Okay, yeah. First of all, as we all talked before, that from the beginning of this big invasion, we all, except be artists, start to be journalists, microphone defenders, speakers, volunteers, at all. So one mission more is talk with promoters or big festivals to don't invite Russian artists. And some festivals books some artists in 2020 because nobody didn't know that coronavirus come, and it come, and this artist moved to 2022 when all festivals can be happen. But situation changed. War, Russia begin war, and all bookers can. Some of them start to cancel Russian artists from festivals, but someone don't want to lose money, and it was not one time when we have gig with Russian artists in some festivals. But if we talk about situation from 2014, Ukrainian artist was cancelled. So if we know that Russian artists will be on some festival, we cancel our gig and say like, no, we don't want. After beginning of this big war, we didn't cancel. We go to this stage, say fuck, it's a little bit, yeah. Because it's our culture. Why of Russian artists I have to cancel my culture? It's not okay, first of all. Then we speak from the stages. Like tomorrow will be gig of some Russian artists. People, don't go, please. Just say to all, don't go. Why? Don't respect it. Yeah, you buy tickets for this festival when you have possibility to see 10 other artists from Bulgarian, Swiss, for example, or other countries. So don't go to Russian concert. And if we talk about listening music, yeah, you told about tax. So yeah, it's important information, but not to European artists, because European auditory didn't listen Russian music at all too much, but Ukrainian was. So this job is inside country, and I think Sasha told more about it.
Yeah, we have a big problem, as Alyona says, about Russian artists, because we was on the Sigit festival this year, and we had a main stage. It was a big chance for us, and we had maybe 8 minutes, but we needed to tell that it's Russia started the war in our country, fuck Putin, and all of this stuff. Yes, all of the very important messages we needed to talk, because it was maybe, I don't know, 80,000 people. So and this Russian DJ, she was in another days on the north stage, something and our people was Ukrainian people was saying, don't need to go there. You need to stay in Ukraine. You don't need to go on one stage with the Russian artist. And I support Alyona in this, that we need to be there, and we need to sing our music. We need to talk about war on the big stage, and I think it's a big opportunity, it's a big chance for us to know European people know more about it.
Spread true information.
Yeah. And about the music, Russian music, we started our music, our career in 2017, and our song "Cry" was very popular in Russia, and we're really proud that we never were there. And we have invitations so many, and on Russian television,
Russian music show, they
Yes,
always ask
yes.
like, can we use your
Yes,
song?
it was very, very many and some of like Mustave and all of this.
Music box, yeah, music
Yes,
channels.
we canceled this and we were very proud of it. But a lot of Ukrainians still listening Russian music, and I think it's also our job to fight with this. And I know that during this war, like during this year, we have so many new artists, Ukrainian artists. It's like thousands.
Yeah.
So why?
Super different genres,
Yes.
in all genres.
Yeah.
And it's a question for us why people still listening Russians music. I don't know about. I don't like your Russian music. It's like from my childhood, and I don't know about this quality. I don't like. I really don't like it. And our music still like I think it's better. So please listen to Ukrainian products, Ukrainian musicians. It's very rich and different genres. So you can just start.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is with young generation. Why? Because we have new artists, but nobody from them are not superstar like Justin Bieber for young generation in America, in Ukraine. So, and they get used to listen Russian young artists. So this is the biggest problem, because that person whom we see in chart from Russia is the people who is the artist who create music for 14 years, 15 years old young person, and they didn't see some leaders for them in Ukraine. I think because of this horrible happening now in Ukraine, this young man can create new. It's for their nervous young. It's hard. War, they have to move with parents in new country, so we wait and believe that new artists start to be some young person, teenagers start to be artists like Justin Bieber or Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera. Then in America, in that time, that we need it now in Ukraine. So our songs and create you. It's example for them. Don't be shy who you are. Just do music. Be yourself, and we just wait. Maybe they heard us, and some new star will burn even maybe in this moment in Ukraine.
That's really great when you say it, really. And I think it opens another door for, if we have any in the whole Europe, any the labels and the people who can, it is also a support for the young generation, because the industry inside the country, we know it's very difficult. If you have the industry out of the country, if you can support it, it's not just donate, just talk with the different labels. And I think there is many, and it's our duty. It's not only, just saying, it's a duty of the whole Europe to have this kind of artist. That becomes a preservative, as you say. The young generation, it should be always producing the new artist. The new artist, it just goes. The old become classic, you become the legend, or you are already the legend, and you always need it. That's really great, and it's a good opportunity. If there is anybody, or we have to try. That's,
I'm old.
but yes, you are one of the 15 best rappers. No, that's good to have it, and it's always open another door that we can discuss about the new generation. How you can, as an artist, you have also a duty to just help them, to bring them as an opener, come and open my stage. By this way, they just get used to be in front of audience.
That's why we all sitting on TikTok and looking for somebody new. We wait for this moment, and when we see somebody super talented, I think we all push this music without money, without some barter or something. Just push, because we understand that we need this somebody for young person.
I think this is a cool thing. This is the one cool thing about this situation in Ukraine, that Ukrainian musicians, Ukrainian artists, and just famous people started to be like a big family, and they forgot all of their maybe some concurrence and all this. Yes, and they have a big friends and supporting each other, and this is the coolest thing that I always dreamed about this from our start. But yes, the war changed everything. So yeah, we are now we have a big one mission, and we together do it.
Yeah, that's good. But in other way, you are a musician. You have the biggest megaphone that nobody else. Only the president maybe has it, and you are the second, and you have to use it in the best way.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, when we tried.
That's great. Another topic, I don't know if we have time. When you have to be on your soundcheck, I don't want to take, because we can have it until 2 o'clock, or if you are in a hurry, we can just leave to the audience.
You know that this is a very hard question for us, because
I think we have
our managers know.
Yes,
we don't
18 minutes at all we have.
Okay, 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I want to open for a question to the audience, that if there is any question.
Хтось з аудиторії хоче щось спитати?
Yeah. Don't be shy. Otherwise, I ask.
Okay. Any questions?
Hand.
Okay.
Ви обіцяли сопилку, можна?
Сопилку, пожалуйста. Флейту, some kind of flute.
Також, до речі, про сопілку, ми сьогодні, так як крім того, що ми граємо музику і робимо благодійні концерти, ми також почали в наших турах використовувати всі можливі варіанти збору коштів для нашої армії. І я з моїм другом майстром ми зробили кілька таких сопілок, які розіграємо на аукціонах після концерту. Тож, так.
Сьогодні ввечері, приходьте, будь ласка, всі на виступ, у вас буде шанс отримати також такий інструмент. О 6-й вечора перекладіть перекладач, де саме. Там така назва закладу, я не зможу її сказати, але ми там будемо всі готові. Дякую.
Besides doing concerts and charity, we are also raising funds to support Ukrainian defenders. And myself, together with my friends, we've created several sopilkas that are usually offered through auction. And this will be also the case tonight during our concert at Kulturhuset at 18:00, as we have concert in Stockholm tonight.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Welcome.
Please, welcome. Alyona.
Співай.
Вони знімають.
Dima talking about that this flute will be some of yours, yes, for the could be, yes, and for the big donate to our for what we are collecting money right now for the car.
For the car in
Скажи.
medic.
Medicine car,
For
Ambulance.
for ambulance.
Yeah.
ambulance, yeah.
It's
Me too.
military ambulance, not the usual.
Military ambulance.
Yeah, military
Yeah.
ambulance. Yeah.
So maybe someone have questions, more questions? Don't be shy.
Who are your greatest inspirations for yourselves as artists?
Greatest inspiration?
Хто?
Oh,
For me, it's Eminem. It's easy. Yeah. Yeah. I love his music from childhood, and maybe not all his career was perfect and clean as mine, you know. But yeah, he still are good person, and he's still a super high level rapper for me. If you talk about time now, I think is in some part is Lizzo, it's American artist, body positive artist. She's cool, she's dope. Yeah, and if we talk about European artist, I think it was, but I didn't heard new songs. Princess Nokia, she creates cool music too. But for a long time I didn't heard nothing about her. I don't know why. I think because I unsubscribed from all foreign countries who don't respect Ukraine, you know. I don't know new albums. From Eminem also, yeah.
Для мене в дитинстві був і зараз це є Майкл Джексон. Я, будучи малим, колись на полі, коли пас корови, у мене був телефон, я танцював під його пісні, і це не змінилося досі, я досі танцюю під його пісні. Це один з...
Since I was a child, Michael Jackson was my hero, so I was helping my grandparents with cows, like in the field, and was dancing there with Michael Jackson music, and still dancing with his music.
Sorry.
Вітка, хто то?
Не знаю, що казати, якісь імена.
Ти ж англійську не знаєш.
Так тут багато ж українців.
А там?
Тому ну, я багато чого слухаю, але не можу сказати, там, якісь імена називати не буду. Просто він спитав, що мене надихає. Ну, зараз мене більше надихає, напевно, не музика, а щось інше, не знаю. Те, що ми їздимо, виступаємо, мене надихає на природу дивитись. Таке більше щось. Лаунж. Пити чай.
Difficult to find a person, like a source of inspiration for myself. I think I'm more inspired now by nature and doing such activities as just drinking tea.
We can hear it from your music.
Yeah. Oh, such a king's compliment.
No, it's good.
For me, it's also very hard to like choose one of persons, but I also loved to grow myself from the like childhood, and I wanted to be an actress, I wanted to be a singer, and wanted to be a journalist, but I wanted to be like famous, I don't know, and I wanted to be like creator of something. So from my childhood I started to sing, and I loved Christina Aguilera because of her voice, and I like started to sing like her, like oh, sometimes like this was. And after from 2008 I started to love Rihanna, and my love started from this year and till today. So this girl and her performances, her voice, and all of this, I really love her.
І також, крім наших дитячих героїв, сьогодні у нас всіх є одні великі герої, це наші Збройні Сили. І ми нещодавно мали концерт для бійців Азову, і ми думали, це буде, знаєте, такий, ми не знали, як представити, як з ними виступати, як з ними комунікувати, бо це були деякі, які щойно повернулися з полону.
The most inspiring is to do concert for the Ukrainian defenders. Like recently, we've done that for Azov defenders.
І І вони були настільки наповнені життям, настільки життєрадісні, що це не могло не надихати. І ну, ти прийшов, ти такий думаєш, о Боже, це ж хлопці, вони прийшли з полону, а вони настільки заряджають життям і змушують жити далі, що це неймовірно, це настільки така хвиля потужна, що ти не можеш її, ну, це було дуже сильно.
Although some of them were just coming back from the capture, from the Russian capture, but they were still so full of energy and life that it's just the highest level of inspiration that I have experienced.
They are like really real stars, and they're real superheroes, really, because there was some guy, his name was Jesus, and he also a defender. He's from Azovstal, and he has like a long hair, and he sit on our drums, and he was like, and he was playing our music, and we like, oh my God, he was shaking his hair, and we was in shock because we thought that we need to like keep their like як сказати, типу, підтримувати їх. We thought that they will be a little bit like sad, yes, and after this performance we was a little bit in shock. So we have a lot concerts with defenders, with our people, and they all are very, very like strong, and they really inspiring us. So
Yeah.
we're trying to be like them.
You have a question?
Yeah, I think every artist has own opinion about that artist who really, from soul, from heart, want to say sorry for Russia. Yeah, we have some of these artists, and I respect that they cancelled Russian culture also, that they support Ukrainians. I say thanks for them, but I didn't accept them. Like, I close my mind, my social media network from all what is from Russia. They spread Russian culture, yes. They spread Russian language, yes. They spread Russian imperialism, yes. I thought that if they give the biggest interview, and some of them I saw this interview, and if you see this interview, all of them, they was born and grow up in Russian imperialistic culture. So they didn't respect Putin, but Russian culture is cool. But very big part of Russian culture is Ukrainian culture, but they cut it from Ukraine and they don't understand it, they don't accept it. They say that this is Russian culture. So for me, I don't want to say that they are bad person, and I really thank them that they help Ukrainians, but I don't accept it. And this is my opinion, and since 2014 till 2022, I accept it. So some artist who was opposition, who was liberalistic, it was my opinion also, and I do some features with them. I thought that they changed something, but they can't change. So from 2022, from Big Invasion, I stopped to accept, and this is my opinion, and I think many of artists in Ukraine think the same. We have to create our culture, that artists do something good for their culture, maybe change the world, because we now change the world from like opinion people about Ukrainian people and Ukrainian culture.
Thank you. We had this discussion yesterday about to just put we talk about the classic music, Tchaikovsky, and the other Russian music, and the suggestion from my side was to put, I don't want to boycott it, but put it in the quarantine.
Yeah.
Put it in the shelf, let the Ukrainian culture, the Ukrainian music grow up. When they are equal, then
It's not about
Yes.
concurrence, you know.
No.
Quarantine is that
No.
Russian people understand something.
Yes.
That they have to change something. Bush dictator, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
they
it
have-
has been a repression. I mean, the Ukrainian language was not even allowed in many places.
Yeah.
It's lots of these things that it should take some years or some many
Very-
decades that just we understand. And as I said, every time I listen, I don't want to listen Tchaikovsky because it reminds me doors open, Putin's coming. It's horrible. It was not the Tchaikovsky's fault, but unfortunately this is in the wrong hands. It was Wagner was 100 years before about Hitler, but many people didn't want to hear Wagner after the Nazis used the Wagner. I mean, that is unfortunately the other side of this kind of music, that you can put it in the quarantine and just let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Cool word. Quarantine.
I think you're exact that is somebody else who wants to ask. Last
I
question.
have a last.
First of all, can I say, yeah? Yeah. In all gigs, we try to promote all Ukrainian artists who are different in this city or in this country. Why? Because we always open to European auditory possibility first. If you want to donate, you can donate, or if you can buy ticket to some concert, and this is donation. Because all artists put some part of money to defense. So this is charity from you, if you are a European person. And second, you open to yourself something new music, which you didn't hear before. And it's cool possibility to find some way maybe for your music or to see inspiration from other gigs. So this is super big promote. If we talk about what artists doing except concert, because we all go to protest moving. Sasha was not one time on protest. Me wasn't only one time on protest. So we show to all the world how kind of protest moving do Ukrainians. It's not aggressive. It's not about to damage something, to burn something or something else. No, we go and sing. Ой, у лузі червона калина. So it's our protest moving, it's our attention moving, and it's kindly, it's culture also, cultural. I think you understand what I'm talking about. So this is promotion from artists. And show, first of all, I think, show good gig. Show that our quality of music, of sound, of life is super high.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to time, if you want, we have past 5 minutes, but if you wish, you have any last word to tell us?
From our band, I think the important thing is to remember that every day that the war still goes in our country, and like hundreds of thousands of people dying every day, and there are many cities who are in occupation, like Mariupol or Melitopol or Donetsk, Luhansk. So we need to remember this, and we need to do something. Not only like us need to do something. The people who are interested in support and interested to know about country, who fighting with a really big country, and the Ukraine and Russia is very different because Russia really big. And if you are interested about our country, please try to learn about us more. You need to know that we have a big history, and we, like Ukraine, not like USSR or Russian Imperium, I don't know, but Ukraine has a big history. Ukraine have a big library of Ukrainian songs. It's the biggest in Europe, I don't know, or even in the world. So we have our
Astronomy, super exciting, for example,
yeah, it's awesome.
as you can see.
And we have a lot of interesting things, and we have something to lose because we have our nationality, and it's very risky, and we want to keep our country, our borders, and our culture. So if you are interested in supporting us, please learn more about our country, and please, of course, donate. It's very important for our defenders.
My last words. First of all, I want to say thanks to organizers for the inviting all of us to be here to present Ukraine, to have possibility to say thanks to people in Stockholm, in Swiss, for helping hand. It's very important, and we feel it, we appreciate it, and for your donation, for your weapons, for all, yeah, for your home, for our people who came here. We know this big community, and we feel it, and it's a big honor to be Ukrainian, but be here and have possibility to see eyes of people who are here, who live here for a long time, but feel that they are part of Ukraine, who came here, and now we all artists, we are not star on the stage, and you are not fun under the stage, fun of us, yeah? Yeah, we all are neighbors, we all are in the same situation. We are here, we must to be here, we have to be here, but we all want to go home, to peaceful land. So we all have to be united to do our winning of this war fast. That's all.
Thank you. And Slava Ukraini is war.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a big applause to the panelists and the greatest artists.